Hey, Rexburg. I'm Rick Robinson. This is Travis Green. Sorry,
Hello,
I introduced yourself.
Good afternoon. Yeah, good to see everybody.
Guys, welcome to the Rexburg Hustle. We're very excited to have you guys here today. Hopefully you guys are watching on the live stream. Guys, if you are, please make sure to put the comments in there, ask questions, anything you want to ask our guests today or anything for Travis and I. Anyway, make sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that. If you guys are listening after the fact, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast in the different podcast apps. So, Travis, how are you today?
I'm doing really good. We have a good, we want to talk about a company that's been on the show already as our spotlight. This is Apple Tree Dental. If you remember a few episodes ago, we had Sky Sessions come talk to us about Apple Tree Dental, how he came about, where he got his education. He talked about going to Germany and turfing it on a mountain bike, going fast down a hill.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Just some fun stories.
Yep.
But anyway, Apple Tree Dental, Sky Sessions, great company, great dental office to go to. You got to check them out. They're here in Rexburg on the west side of town. Great place to be, as Rick knows.
As I just came back from.
Yes, today.
So, today. So it had been a couple years since I've been.
A couple, but they took really good care of them.
Yeah,
so
they did.
Anyway,
they were fantastic.
Yeah, Apple Tree Dental.
Well,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, guys, we have a great show today. If you missed last week's episode, it was all about raising awareness and raising some funds for someone out of Utah who is battling cancer right now. So if you guys have the opportunity to go back and watch last week's episode, it was with Eric and Samantha Checketts. Please, we encourage you guys to do that. There's also a GoFundMe page set up to try and raise the funds. I know her last treatment was over $1 million.
Amazing.
And the cancer came back, and she's going through a second round now. So anyway, guys, we want to make sure that we support that family and do anything we can to help them during their troubled times. So that was episode 13 with the Checketts, with Eric and Samantha Checketts. So anyway, but guys, we have another great show today. We're kind of switching gears a little bit. We're going more the sports way for the next couple weeks, and we're excited about that. We have Sean McDonald on the show with us today. Sean grew up in Boise, Idaho. He went to Capitol High School. Go Capitol High School. I don't know where it is, but I bet it's an awesome high school. We'll support it. Yeah, absolutely. He came here to Rexburg originally to attend Rick's College, where he got his degree in business. And Sean was actually, he's big into basketball now and actually owns Jumpstart Basketball, but he was a very competitive snowboarder before that. Now turned to basketball, which I think is really cool. So we're excited to have Sean McDonald on the show with us. Sean, come on up.
You know, we're excited to hear from Sean about his program and what he does with his basketball camps. You know, what a great time of year to really get the kids out and let them experience something other than just staying inside. I mean, school's out, they're at home, they got to create some environments. And anyway, Sean's going to tell us about what his program is and how it can apply to you and, well, your kids.
Yeah. But first, I got to ask, because we were talking in the pre-show, you said that you were a very competitive snowboarder, and now you own a basketball company.
More of a snowboarder enthusiast.
Enthusiast, okay.
Okay.
I love
But you were big into it.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be an understatement. I was eat, drinking, and sleep and snowboard from like age 12 to 29.
Nice.
Wow.
Probably.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So you went from that, and now you're into basketball.
Like most action sports enthusiasts, their body starts to break down, and they have kids at some point.
Right.
And so most of our time was being spent just on the football field, basketball, soccer, and I had coached teams for probably 6 years and still do. You know, soccer's around the corner. So we're doing all that stuff. The basketball one in particular was different because it was so widespread. The girls do it. Girls aren't playing football for the most part.
Right.
Guys, and then like everybody's into it. You know, parents are into it too. So there was one year I had 3 teams. I had an 18-year-old group, young men doing a city league, and then I had my daughter, 5th grade, and I had my son too. And it was across the board. Like all of them needed help, right? So they're, where do they learn how to play basketball? And I think I said a little earlier, it's one of those things like everybody does, but we don't want to pay for it. You know?
Right, yeah.
So it's just a weird fixture that everyone's playing ball till the day they die. Or, I go play ball, and there's guys that are in their late 40s and 50s still doing it.
That's awesome.
So, so that was kind of the grow that. So I'm like, man, I can complain about it, but we don't have any court time. And I don't know where they're going to go to learn. They do some of these camps that come fly by, from out of state. Some of them are local, but a lot of them are from out of town, out of state. Ton of money, $200-300, and they're for 2 or 3 days to drink out of a fire hose basketball, So we're like,
And you can't really pick up a sport in 3 days.
No.
Or
you cannot.
develop crucial skills or strategies.
It just takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
You got to get to know the kid. I mean, it's easy to cater to the best kids. You teach them, they learn. But
For sure.
these other little guys just getting into it. So, anyways, that's a little background. So we get shifting gears from our snowboard enthusiasm to basketball. So.
Well, that's awesome. So you started Jumpstart Basketball, and where are you guys located at?
So we're right in between Rigby and Rexburg. So we're about 5 miles from Rigby and about 8 miles from Rexburg. So the Bear World place,
Yep.
right past Bear World, that exit. So you get over the bridge, and then we're right off the freeway. You can see us from the freeway.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then what, I guess, who are you catering to specifically? So just people who
our
had no clue or
students, 3 and 4 year old. And then our oldest are high school kids.
Okay.
So 16, 17. Majority of our students are around that 10 to 14.
Okay.
Where they're really getting into basketball. They want to make the team. So that's majority of them.
Okay.
So
now this is sort of a different, because it is a business. It's sort of a different business that really nobody's probably attempted in this area. Why do you guys think you're the kind of the first ones to do something like this?
I don't know yet, but we've been doing it for a year and a half. Now, here's one of the reasons.
Okay.
And you mentioned that I have a degree in business.
Yeah.
That was the first thing. Does this make sense? Can people do this?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of, like, hey, why don't we have swimming pools in town? Well, there's a reason why, because it's really expensive and there's tons of liabilities. And so that was my first thing is like, we had a kid that played Boise State, Cody Spute. I don't know if you got him up there. Probably got a picture of him.
We'll get him up there.
Yeah. So Cody was very instrumental because he kind of came in. He already played D1 ball for 1 year, and then he transferred here. And so, putting the program together, we're like, okay, this could work. We got a good curriculum, so let's see if we can piece it together. So first thing, we want to zone correctly a building. We don't want it to be in someone's backyard or something like that. So let's do it the right way. Let's make sure the kids are safe. Let's make sure it's insured. Let's make sure the instructors are as well. So once we put all that stuff down and put that in line, then I'm like, oh, this is why people don't do this. So,
Right.
but we love it. So I've been coaching for free for years, and many dads do. So there's a natural enthusiasm because it's a sport. It's just for fun. It's not life or death. So so the wheels kept turning. And I was telling earlier, there was multiple things that happened that almost put the shutdown on it, from fire chief to, we were trying to get the zoning correctly. That set us back another couple months when we could have just built a building for my regular job. That's what we were doing it for.
Uh-huh.
This was kind of a side thing at first. So, and that was kind of the, getting into it, all those obstacles. It probably set us back 4 or 5 months, and we were very close not doing it.
Wow.
And so just 2 weeks before opening, we had a few dozen students. And I was like, these are probably kids that I used to teach already in one of the 3 or 4 sports. And then right before we opened, we got to over 100. And so that's when I was like,
That's great.
you know
That's
what?
a big jump.
Yeah, and Rigby and Rexburg, awesome. Some of our first students were right here in Rexburg, and they're still with us. They're awesome people. So anyway, so that's kind of the inception and how it all started happening.
Okay.
So you had some hurdles to jump through, but you had a vision. You saw a need. You said, "Hey, let's do this. I enjoy sports. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy this. Let's take what's not here and go build something." So then you jumped into it, went through all these hurdles, and you persevered, got it done, and now you've got just little over 100 students right now.
Yeah, so we've averaged about 100 to 130 since
That's
we
great.
started, and it's been
That's
a
great.
revolving door. So
Yeah.
the other thing is, you do year round, you do it for 3 months. Is this a camp? So everyone has the camp mentality.
Yep.
Like, you do your sports in that season, then you don't pick up the ball for the rest of the year, and you come back next year.
Right.
So we had to kind of get that idea ingrained into people. And so I'd kind of compare it to more like martial arts or,
Okay.
even piano lessons, where
Yeah.
you just do a little bit every week, get the same coach for the most part, and just keep building and building as you're growing as a player. So
Right. Whether it's, like you said, martial arts, CrossFit, whatever it is, you don't go 3 times, say, I'm good.
you're done.
Done. You go back. It's a regular thing to hone your skills, get exercise, get out of the house, learn something new, and be with people that you're safe with.
Yeah.
I just have to liken it. So, when was it? Early 2010 10 or something, I went and got my pilot's license, and I did that here in Rexburg with a private instructor. And as I was kind of getting into the whole aviation scene, I remember looking at different, they have all these different schools, aviation schools, and one of them was get your pilot's license in a week. And I'm just like, oh, that's terrifying, because, going the other route with a private instructor, it takes several months to get it.
Right.
And you've got to really, it's only 40 hours of flying time you have to get your license. But, this instructor here likes to put you in different scenarios, different weather conditions, different wind. And where you go to, you go back east for a week and you got sunny weather for the entire week, and all of a sudden here's your pilot's license. It's terrifying. So you guys kind of have that exact same concept. You're not trying to rush people through it. You're actually you're building in different scenarios and teaching deeper skills that are ingrained in them that will probably make them much better players in the end.
Yeah, like one of them, one of our skills, because we break it down to a 3-month program, and it recycles, and we tweak it and add stuff to it. One of them, we added in left-handed week, and some of our best players, showed up, are like, hey, left hand only. Put that blue rubber ball in your right hand, you're not using it anymore today. And we go through different exercises, and a lot of them you see, like our best players, and they get in, they're like, oh, this is uncomfortable because this is super hard. Like, I'll try it a little later. Like, no, today's the day you're going to try it. And your parents are paying for you to learn it today. So so it was very interesting. Like, once you start tugging and pulling out these kids' skill sets, and it gets uncomfortable, and you know what I mean? Like, they are learning something new, and someone has to force them.
Sure.
You can't go into a game and be like, hey, use left hand when you're going to go on the left side.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to happen. They're going to go right back to the right like they've always done.
Yeah.
So.
See, and that's a skill I would have never thought of. I mean, how much better is the player that can use both hands, consistently? Wow, that's pretty awesome.
What I liked is not just the skill sets you're teaching them, but the mindsets you're teaching them, the life skills. Anytime you do something hard in life, you take that skill with you, that memory, that experience. And so this is great in a fun and safe environment, teaching them something that they're not used to, that's hard, that's difficult, but yet when they see the reward of it, that's a life skill they take with them.
It is really cool when you see a little guy like really putting everything in. It's awesome. So, and it's not always the best kid. So yeah, when you see some, they're like, I want to get in two times a week. And then they're asking questions after, and then the parents are supporting them as well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat. They get a really good relationship with their kids through it, because they're learning and growing. It's a way for the parents to show, like, hey, this is what you're into. I mean, let's do it.
Awesome. So it's a safe environment too. Talk about that. I know in a lot of sports, there can be, and as you have experienced in your sports history, maybe some clicks and some things that go on, but with your program and what you're doing, talk about the safety in that.
Well, it's just all inclusive. So we have really good kids. We have kids that are introduced to ball and they're 11 years old, first time. Yeah. They're like, no, they have a ball, they shoot in the back, but they don't know any of the rules, they don't know any of the violations. It's everywhere in between. So we do a lot of grouping. That's the biggest challenge in the facility, because we have 2 coaches for every 6 to 10 kids. So we're constantly dividing and conquering. But the team, once they get to 7th grade, we have so many kids that retire from basketball at age 12 because they didn't make the team. They didn't have the right last name, or they didn't know their coach, or they weren't good enough. That's the majority of them. And so they're like, well, you're like 5'2", I mean, that's probably what I was in 7th grade. Now I'm 6'3". Right. So who knows what's going to happen in the next 6 years? Yeah. And it's a really a poor way to look at it as well, from like our local teams. If we like our local teams, so we don't want bad kids in the program, Sean. We want all the good ones. Well, you don't know who's good until much further, you know. So you have kids that blossom a lot later.
Absolutely.
So that's a good feeling, that there's kids that they're not on the team, but they have an avenue like, well, I still want to get better. I'm going to try out next year. Or I'm going to go do a city league in Idaho Falls. That's the only place that has it after 7th grade. So anyways. So,
and something we talked about in the pre-show a little bit too is just the evolution of basketball, how it used to be you had to be 7'16", which doesn't anyway, but you had to be this giant Shaquille O'Neal to play basketball, and now it's really not the case anymore.
Right. So especially as of now, so they've changed the rules of basketball quite a bit in the professional level. I'll say that. So, they've stretched the floor. They've brought the three-point line back from the 80s. Now it's at like 23.5 at the top, where it used to be 19.6 like it is in high school. Wow. So what that does is it gets all this open space in the middle, so the big guys can't just fill the lane. Yeah. And then the three-point ball has changed everything. So someone got a calculator out and said, wait a minute, these are worth 1.5 more times than a 2-point. I don't have to shoot 31% to make it worth a 50% shot or whatever the math is.
Yeah.
And so all these little guys, like 175-pound Steph Curry is the best player in the world, at least, MVP a couple years in a row, just a few years back, because of skills. He's not bigger. He's not stronger. He's not the fastest guy.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. It's just way more inclusive sport where you don't just have the biggest, strongest kid that's dominating everything, that you can be good. There's an avenue for you in basketball specifically. I don't know if that's the case in football and some of the other sports, but
yeah, contact sports would probably be a little bit different, but
yeah. So it's pretty neat. Once you understand the rules and how to exploit them, then you can have a place on your team and be a contributor.
And so you guys are taking a much more methodical approach to basketball.
Yeah. So we go through the rules of the game, and everyone's like, I already know travel. I already know that rule. I'm like, do you really know that rule? The one step to two step jump stop rule. Do you know? You could walk in two different directions. The step back rules. This is all nerdy basketball stuff, but we, every 3 months we go through evaluation and go through that stuff. This is the rules of the game, and even as coaches, we're like, combing through the fine print in the NBA website and like, oh, this is the rule. This is why what we see on TV. This is why they're doing that.
Yeah,
it doesn't even look like basketball. All the old school guys are complaining like, my day we used to punch people in the face in basketball. And like, well, it's still a sport, it's not boxing. There's a room for a little guy and a big guy, and they're exploiting the rules. Is what they're doing. So.
One thing I hear that you're saying that I really like is that you're teaching them not just the skill of the game, but the why behind it. Sometimes you have to teach those rules. Even they say, I know the rule, I know the travel rule, I know this, I know that. Like you said, do you really? Let's just start the basics. Let me teach you the why behind it. Then we're going to marry that with the skill behind it, and that's going to help you anyway. It's a path, and that's a good thing. I like that.
It is. It's neat. And I got 11-year-old sons way into it, 13-year-old daughter, especially them. They're into basketball. They want to talk about basketball shoes and basketball cards and all things. But
Great.
I'm like hearing them back, talking about the travel rule when they're, going on, go get some ice cream or something. I'm like, that's some nerdy stuff right there. Perfect. That is jumpstart, worthy stuff right there.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's pretty neat. Like, the kids get geeked out. I have a 6-year-old, and I'm like, show me the point guard, number one, and she'll go to the spot. She doesn't know how to read yet, but she knows how to play basketball.
Oh,
it's
that's
a lot
cool.
of fun.
That's cool.
So speaking of the little guys, do you guys have to adapt to them quite a bit more to get them to understand the concepts?
So, yeah.
Because what age do they start at? With you guys?
They start, like I said, we have a 3-year-old, couple of those, and it's case by case.
Sure.
If they get in and the classroom setting's overwhelming, some will just go in the corner. I'm like, try them in a few years.
Yeah,
sure.
Yep.
But some of them can. They jump in, and some are really good, really surprising. So, yeah, I mean, we need more of a dad than a college athlete at that point. And so I teach a lot of those ones. I don't know if you got a picture of that, but it's my favorite day of the week because I get to wear a mustache, and we try to disguise it as much as possible. But, like I was telling you a little earlier, I got a closet, and we got all sorts of things, the candies and toys and all that, all the tools of basketball, and then like a bunch of costumes. And, I'm like, let's take it to the next level. These kids are getting a little wild with a mustache. Let's see what they do with the mullet wig.
Nice.
And I came out, and they were just stunned, just like staring like, what's going on with Coach's hair? And it was black just like my hair. And then one of the girls is like, that's making me uncomfortable. So I'm like, all right, too far. There's
Too much.
a line, and we cross it. So,
Yeah.
But, so, like,
there you go. There's your shot.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And I can't take myself too seriously. I'm the only one on our staff that hasn't played college ball.
Yeah.
So I'm the enthusiastic dad just rallying the talent.
Yeah.
So.
I've heard a lot of people talk about sports and some of the emotions that get wrapped up in that, whether it be the parents or the coaches, and why didn't you do this? You missed that ball. You should have, and why didn't you? And all this other stuff, which I understand they're wanting to teach the discipline of it and all that. But boy, I don't know how much of that's uplifting and encouraging or demeaning and demoralizing. I don't know. But it seems like you try to pull the best out. Yeah, you teach the principle, and if something doesn't go right, you say, okay, here's what we need to do next time or whatever. But you're encouraging, not pulling them down.
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. So it is. It's tough to be a coach. So I don't want to throw all the coaches under the the bus,
right.
but it's a real thing. And when I get there, I'm like, I'm a pretty mellow person. I get in there and like, this is the most important thing in the world right now is coaching this 5-year-old that's not dribbling correctly. It's a weird thing. So we dumb it down quite a bit at Jumpstart. We have music playing. And it's, you know what I mean? It's a lot more fun environment.
Yeah.
And we provide a way everybody's participating. So we
Good.
don't do any
Yes.
scrimmages. We just do one-on-ones. We
Oh,
tried
that's
the
cool.
scrimmaging, and what happens is what you see on the court. You got one person dominating the ball, and they're not getting those reps in. So,
Yeah.
and it is my favorite, part of classes. The last 5-10 minutes we're doing 101, and we got a live video feed that I can see. We'll send that to the parents, and the kids watch that, and they watch them school their buddy or get smoked by their buddy. It's a lot of fun.
Good. Well, that's great. I like how you're catering to all the different ages, skill levels. You're adapting to what they need, and in the end, you're probably seeing a lot of good results from that and sending them out the door with some good encouragement. So that is a great thing. Where are you going from here? You've built this business. You've got a good 100 to 130 students. What's next? What's the
Well,
future
we need
hold?
a full court. So that's it, and we have the property to do it right next to us. So that's the wheels are turning on that, and they were right away. We're like, that's where we want to be. And then have 6 baskets so we can get more people in there. You guys are going to do a little segment on Viking United next week. And, not very many, little props to those guys. We've been preying on their players for the last year and a half. So Cody Spute was on their team. I think they want Coleman because he's a 6'7" monster that would really help them. But there's a college team here in town that's not sponsored by the university, and they play other schools. So they don't have a place to practice either. They're just winging it, like going on the road, playing and even beating college teams.
No kidding. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a crazy, awesome story.
Wow.
And we've been fortunate that this university is, second largest in the state. It might pass up Boise State in the next 5 years. 20,000+ students. You don't think there's ballers in that population?
for sure.
Without a doubt.
And
Yeah.
they've played D1. They've played other schools. They've been on scholarship. So, and they've become a magnet to collecting that talent and keeping them playing at a college level. And those are the ones that we want. No, not to discriminate the guys that played 20 years ago, but playing right now in real time. Like Coleman was on scholarship last year. He's one of the best players on his team. One of the highest scorers. And now he's coaching at Jumpstart. So, so it's pretty neat just being locked into that. And if once we get a full court, we'll be able to support those guys and then just be able to have tournaments, 3-on-3 tournaments, you name it, because the building is only 54 by 48. It's a half court.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing what we've been able to accomplish so far, but it's bursting at the seams. So we can't, with Monday nights and Friday nights, we're really limited just about 3.5 nights a week. So 130 is about max because we can only get 8 to 10 kids in each class to, deliver the product effectively.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm excited for the future. It sounds like there's some really good things coming, and if you can get that full court, you can really cater to so much more and really offer more to the community in the local area. So that's great. We support you in that. That's wonderful.
And it sounds like the community's been a good support.
Oh,
I mean, if you guys are already
so
bursting at the
awesome.
seams, and you opened last March, was it? Is when you guys opened?
So end of February last year. So
Okay.
I don't know. We've gone through a lot of like 5 or 6 of these 3-month cycles.
Yeah.
But so we're going on year 2, and it's really exciting.
Well,
So
that's
we're
great.
planning to be on in the long haul. I found out I'm going to be a dad again. I'm
Good
40.
for you.
Hey,
Yeah.
congratulations.
So my commitment is until
Perfect.
he's 18. So we'll
Nice.
have to school.
Oh,
So
that
we
is
should
so
be-
cool.
Yeah. No, it's been a lot of fun, and like I said, some students been in since the beginning. Some come in and then they leave and then they come back.
Yeah.
It's just been really cool that the parents are like, there's some value here. We're getting something out of this, so that's
sure.
exciting.
Well, I love the safe environment that you have. I love that you'll take students from 3 to on up, even to older, and give everyone an experience to grow their skill, learn something new, get the exercise, get
And
out
make
of the
it fun.
house, and make it
Yeah.
fun. The safety factor that you offer. Hey, come on, come all. We got a place for you. We're going to take our time. We're not going to just hurry and rush you out the door. We're going to make sure you leave with something so you're better than when you came. And that's awesome.
it. Yeah.
Good.
It just brings back flashbacks of high school sports for me. Well, the high school sport I played, and it was just like, man, you're not good enough. Okay, you're off. You're not here. And it was just very rigorous and intense and almost like depressing. So because I was
it's
not
a
very
lot,
good,
right?
So
You don't have the your whole life to be like putting this in context. It
Yeah.
could be. It's awful.
Yeah.
And our first experience, just on that note, last year in the fall, where kids, we had a lot of Jumpstart kids go out for the team. I think for the girls' 7th grade team, I think we had 8, and
Okay.
4 made it.
wow.
And the other 4 that didn't, it was awful. And it was the coach's fault, and it was this fault, and it was
Right.
this. I'm like, this is actually a really good learning opportunity. Don't go to the coach. Have your student go to the coach. And they're going to have a boss. They're going to have a manager. They're going to have another coach, a teacher. This is an awesome life skill. Basketball is just basketball, you know.
Yep.
So I like what you were saying, because that's what we try to – we're not just catering to the few jocks, you know what I mean, that have been playing ball for 3 generations. You know, it's pretty cool. We hear a lot of screaming downstairs, and it's never the coach. It's always the players having a good time and just competing and, like, hanging out with their buddies.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
Sometimes you never know just what someone's capable of until they try. I think too many people in general, kids especially, I can't do this. Why should I try? How do you know?
Yeah.
And maybe, I've tried it. Well, maybe with a little of the right coaching, you can make it happen. So we would encourage everyone to contact you.
And how do they get in contact with you?
They can go to our website or Facebook page, so jumpstartsportsacademy.com.
Okay.
So the summer schedule starts next week. So it's really cool you guys are doing this, you know, because it is something fun in the community to share.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we can max at about 130 students, and we have 126 on the roster. So it's very limited, but they can get in reserve.
Hurry up, Rexburg.
So that's June, July, and August. So they're mostly in the morning, and then there's a few that have parents that work during the day, both parents. So we do have 3 classes at night, but all the rest are before noon. So they kind of get on with their summer activities,
Perfect.
you know, after, noon. So.
Well, is there anything else you would share? We've just got a couple minutes left. Anything else about Jumpstart yourself, or just anything you want to share before we end up?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like when we first started and everyone saw the students, there was a lot of dads like, I should have done this, you know?
Yeah.
And again, like getting a degree in business, like you looking through the papers and be like, hey, is this a good business or a good idea? I'm going to say it's a good idea. And you got to be really excited about the sport.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of things kids can be doing this day.
Sure.
You know, distractions, or a lot of them just not doing anything.
Right.
Like the distraction of doing nothing, you know, and just having them doing something positive. You got to be enthusiastic. We go there because, you know, the whole school is just to make people feel included, kids doing something positive in our community, you know, and then supporting them. And it's easy to say, oh, you stay out of trouble, you know, like, well, you're going to have to put in some time to keep them out of trouble.
Right.
You know, and that's my thoughts, and that's why I'm dedicating myself to doing this school for the next 20 years and just seeing what comes of it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, we pick potatoes, and we're going to be some ballers here in Eastern Idaho.
That's
right.
Indiana
Good deal.
is going to be number
Good
2
deal.
pretty soon.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing this. Give them the website one more time in case somebody wants to fill up those last 4 spots.
Sure, yeah. So jumpstartsportsacademy.com.
Perfect. And we'll put a link in the comments for that.
Yeah.
So
You guys are great. Appreciate
awesome.
your time.
Okay. Thank you so much. And guys, make sure to join us next week on our show. We're going to continue in the basketball theme. So we're excited for next week's show. It's going to be a great time. Anything else, Travis?
No, we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you, Sean, coming in and sharing what you're doing to help change the lives of young and old all alike. Give them the love, give them the safety, give them the encouragement, and send them out the door with something better than when they came. That is wonderful. So thank you for doing that.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Okay. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.